Breaking news. The flood that devastated parts of Ukraine has left farmers in mourning. Ukrainian farmer Yuri, 56, stands in water up to his chest in his hometown of Afanasiyevka and looks around in bewilderment. A week ago, he was tending to his garden and orchard while his cows grazed. His farmland in the Mykolaiv area is now submerged under a thick layer of greenish sludge. Massive flooding has hit the Kherson and Mykolaiv areas after the Kakhovka hydroelectric dam was destroyed. Farmers in the area were already having trouble planting crops due to heavy shelling and the need to demine their land, and the flooding was a devastating additional setback. Yuri, horrified by the sight of floating ducklings, remarks, "What's underwater here could have fed several large families for a year." He attributes all of the fault to Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia. Putin took everything, they said. He claims that Putin has stolen everything they once had. The Ukrainian government has warned that the flooding could destroy several million tons of crops. The ministry estimated that several times as much agricultural land was flooded on the Russian-controlled left bank of the Dnipro River in the Kherson region as was flooded on the right bank. After flooding from the nearby Ingolets River, the small town of Afanasiyevka is still partially submerged. According to locals, the disaster was particularly devastating to potato crops and grazing fields, as well as drowning many smaller animals. The village was isolated by the water, so soldiers have been ferrying residents across. No running water, electricity, or phone service is available. Farmer Olena Galuk, 59, visits the crossing point to receive water bottles from the volunteers. She has gotten mud all over her hands and dress from digging through the muck to find her belongings. "We lost all of our rabbits. The rain ruined our hay. For the animals, we had grain. Even that has gone bad. The animals in our hutches sailed away on the tide." Olena, who has worked the land her whole life, laments, "Our rabbits died, which is really painful." She continues, "We planted potatoes, beetroot, carrots. Basically everything you'd need to feed a family. We're farmers, so we plant enough food for an entire year. It's dead quiet right now." Russian forces occupied Afanasiyevka for a total of 7 months. Roofs of houses that are now submerged show shelling damage. There are still red warning signs posted in the fields. In April, Ukraine's agriculture ministry reported that 470,000 hectares of farmland remained contaminated with unexploded ordnance and mines. Russia's only goal is to wipe out Ukraine. But we're Ukrainians, Olena says, so we'll survive. They stomped on us and burned our houses down. Rockets passed directly overhead, but we made it. We are no longer going to sit by and let ourselves be submerged. However, not all farmers are so upbeat. Our farmland was destroyed by the floods. Kornobevka farmer 71-year-old Vasil Palamarchik says the ecological disaster means nothing will grow for the next decade. Hunger is coming, they said. The bare-chested, tanned, gray-haired man has piled up a bunch of wet, unripe corncobs that aren't fit for human consumption or animal consumption. Submerged strawberry plants are rotting, driving up the price of soft fruits at the grocery store. Strawberry and cherry prices in Kherson are already higher than in western Ukraine, according to a 63-year-old market vendor named Olga Markova. The entire harvest was ruined by the flood. She predicts that the cost of fruits, vegetables, and wheat will rise. Asking, "How do people get money? Where will they find food to eat? There are no seedlings available for purchase at the moment." Hunger is likely to be a problem this year. Kherson once supplied all of Ukraine and Russia with food. She says, "Just look at what they've done to us now." Yuri is cleaning up the wreckage of his greenhouse, where his strawberries were ripening before the flood. Anger rising in his voice, he angrily points to the river and demands that Russia compensate the affected farmers. That idiot in the Kremlin was responsible for it all, he claims.